Hello and welcome to A to the K's WrestleTalk podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things wrestling. We're going to go through this week in wrestling, talking about the four big shows. We're going to cover any news and rumours, anything like that. And then we're going to finally, as we've been mentioning for a few weeks now, we're going to talk about our favourite, well, currently favourite, I think it's fair to say, Cal, in that we're going to just totally fanboy out on Chris Jericho for probably a few hours. And we can sort of just chill out on that then, instead of mentioning them every week.
We are going to give you the gift of Jericho, so drink it in, man.
So as always, guys, you're here with Anthony, and also the executive vice president of talent relations for A to the K, and that is Carl.
Hello, me.
Carl.
Hello, Anthony.
Before we kick off with the show, Carl, I'm going to kick it over to you, if I could, for our introduction of our first sponsor of the show.
Absolutely. So great to have these guys on board. But this week's episode is brought to you by floriday.co.uk, where you can get all the latest news about Florida, Disney, and Universal Studios, as well as valuable tips and touring plans to get the most out of your Florida holiday. That's floriday.co.uk, the sunshine state of mind.
Shall we move on to This Week in Wrestling, Cal?
We shall, which we've definitely already done.
We've definitely already done This Week in Wrestling. We have not done this in any sort of wrong order at all. So, do you want to talk Raw?
I'm going to talk downright Raw.
Talk Raw, Cal.
So my attempt this week is I've tried to condense my notes. So let's see whether we come in at a time frame kind of, reduced than normal. But yeah, so Raw this week kicked off with the Kevin Owens show. And he brings out Asuka, who's then followed by Charlotte, because she's on every show. She basically says that, she should have been handed the belt because she always beats Asuka, because that's how it works. Why not go in the Money in the Bank match?
Again, this is what it's really, really getting on me goat. This is the second wrestler now to say you were handed the belt. She weren't. She won the fucking match. That's how it works. Exactly. Why are they acting like she was given the belt? She wasn't. She won the Money in the Bank.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No, so yeah, fucking hell, Charlotte, because we can't get enough of her. She comes out, says all that shit. Then Natty comes out because, Natty. And then Nia, and, didn't actually kill anybody in the process of coming out, which is, again,
We'll get on to Nia in a bit, though, because she did. But not in this segment.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I just think what a waste of Kevin Owens. Like, we've just been speaking about him. I'm a massive Owens mark.
Yep.
We haven't just been speaking about him. Damn it! This is going to fuck me up all night.
It's okay. We're not going to hide the fact that we've recorded segment 3 before segment 1, Carl. And we only do it in jest, so feel free to say we've already talked about it.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I don't know. I just think everyone knows what a massive mark I am of Owens, and after the whole Rollins feud, and even then he wasn't being used very well because it was literally just every fucking tag team under the sun getting involved, etc. And after Money in the Bank, he was there saying. After WrestleMania, he was there saying, okay, I'm going to go on to bigger and better things. I was like, well, what is your bigger and better things? Hosting the fucking Kevin Owens show for the women's fucking debacle.
Yeah, to be honest, for me, and this isn't Kevin Owens' fault, by the way, but there are entirely too many shows at the minute. We've got the Dirt Sheet, we've got Kevin Owens show, we've got the VIP Lounge. It's really starting to annoy me.
Moments of
bliss. It's really just starting to bug me, the amount of fucking talk shows we've got. This isn't a fucking morning time fucking breakfast show. This is a wrestling show.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, absolute waste. They could be putting them into something good, yeah, but they're just fucking around with this kind of shit.
Yeah, shame.
Indeed.
However, it then picks up a little bit. So we get our US title match, which is Andrade versus Apollo. These two fantastic athletes. In this match, Apollo looked especially good, I think.
I think he looked good in the last match they had as well. Admittedly, they've done this whole fucking weird injury, can't do Money in the Bank shite, but I thought he had a really good match with him then.
Yeah, it's one of them. If you've got two guys who are really athletically gifted and they can, do the physical spots as well as the kind of the flippy shit stuff too, it's going to be fireworks in it. And these two really good chemistry together. There was shenanigans. So, Zelina jumps up on the apron, accidentally gets knocked off partway through. One thing that was weird as fuck about this match, halfway through it, he just cut to the back and had an interview with Angel Garza, where he's like flirting with that fucking what's her face?
Yeah,
Kale or whatever it is.
To me, it's kind of annoying the fact that it's like, how seriously do you take the US title match? that you're cutting away from it for shit like that.
Like, literally in the middle of the match. Like
Really
it's not even
fucking
about
weird.
anything that's going. Like what the fuck? So yeah, I thought that was mental. But that aside, we actually got to see Apollo pick up the win. So the new US champ, and I don't know. For me, this was just a really great showing. I think you mentioned then that he's had a good showing previously as well. But this was like it really kind of cemented him as like okay, he can be a US champ. Like he isn't just a kind of muscly guy who can do flippy shit. Like this guy, the whole slap to Andrade a couple of weeks ago, the whole kind of build up with the storyline where his injury and stuff like that. Like I feel like they're actually giving him something. So hopefully he can take it and run with it. I'm excited to see where it goes.
I'm fearful. I really enjoyed this match. I'm really glad he won. I really want to see him have a run with the title. But next week he is going to challenge someone for a title match, and I really worry for Apollo in the sense that are they just having it as like a quick fucking hot potato kind of thing where he loses to someone next week so the title can move on to someone that they want it on. No offense to Apollo, but and I sincerely hope they want the title on him. But when you just got that little fear in your mind, because I'll tell you where I'm going with this, Carl. In the back of my mind, I have this horrible fear because of this new brand invitational bullshit, right? That we're going to have Apollo go, I want some redemption. I want to challenge Sheamus, and Sheamus fucking ruins him. That's what I worry about.
No, don't say that.
I'd
Don't
love
say
it if
that.
he did that and won, and he beat Sheamus, given the embarrassing fucking squash that he had with Chad Gable. But to go from being squashed in a handicap match against Sheamus to winning the US title, it just worries me that he's going to want redemption for that, and he's going to lose.
Look, apparently from what I've read is it's a Paul Heyman thing. So apparently he's quite big on him. So
Good.
fingers crossed while he's still writing for Raw that it doesn't go that way. I mean, I'm very fearful, same as you, that it very well could, but fingers crossed.
Luckily, Jeff is currently in an angle with Sheamus. Not that you'd know, and we'll get on to SmackDown. Not that you'd know who's in a fucking angle with Sheamus, but Jeff's currently embroiled in an angle with Sheamus, so I'm hoping that's not the case. But when you just, part of me's feeling like the story's kind of there, but it should be Apollo winning, and I just really worry that they're going to drop the title off him next week as well. But I hope that's not the case. I really do.
Fingers crossed. Yes, then we go on to see the Monday Night Messiah. Again, chatting around the injury that he did to Ray, and he doesn't know what the future holds for Mysterio. But if that was his final act, and it was a courageous one because it allows him to move forward into the future. And then obviously we get
Seth's
to see.
got one eye on him. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, so he then apparently the future is fucking Buddy Murphy and Austin Theory. So those guys
God
give
help us
some
all.
really bad promos, talking about how much they love him and thanking him for all that he's done for them, and then that's that. So okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good time to mention this. That's hopefully I haven't put it in the news. I'll skip it if I have. But the suggestion that the next person in Seth's faction could actually be Dominic. What do you make of that?
That's gonna be weird as fuck, innit? Because like
I feel like they're setting it up though. They're really setting it up because he's currently training, isn't he? He's currently a training wrestler. He's had a bit of a show on WWE. I reckon they would pick him up just for the sake of Ray. And Seth. There's clearly something going to happen next week with Seth doing the retirement party for Ray. That's not going to end like that, is it? Let's be honest. So I feel like they are actually setting up for this. Right now, it's just a bit of a wild theory by all accounts. But how would you feel about that as an angle?
a wild Austin Theory.
Yeah, that's a wild. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be happy with it, to be honest. I don't think Dominic's paid his dues enough to be brought up to the main roster. So I think it'd be pretty weird.
That's a fair point, considering the amount of people on NXT who are clamoring for their shot. I mean, Austin Theory being one of them who's very recently come up. To have Dominic just because of who his dad is just there suddenly in the main scene be fucking annoying, really.
Yeah, I mean, part of me thinks that they're trying to make it like an Aleister Black, Seth Rollins feud, but it just hasn't come across that way yet. So maybe it's an Aleister Black thing at the retirement party. I'm not sure, but I mean, obviously Ray's not actually retiring, so it could just be a Ray thing. But
you see, my little theory, not Austin, my little theory was was that Roman was the one who was traded for AJ, and he was going to join it, but I don't know. I don't know if they want to put Roman in that kind of role anyway at the moment. They probably want a main eventing again, don't they? So I don't know. Just a little theory I put out there.
Interesting though.
Yeah,
Very
many
interesting.
possibilities. The many possibilities of the Messiah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wasn't really sold on that segment. I just thought, well, okay, Murphy can't talk. Theory, not much of a talker either. So great.
Yeah, but they're good at standing behind Seth.
Of course.
You need someone to stand behind you. Those guys are fucking good at
it. What more could a Messiah want? You know. So
I'd
next
love it if he
is
ended up with 12.
turns them into his disciples, and before you know it, it's just a whole different thing. But yeah, so the Iconics come out next, cut a bit of a promo. Billy Kay apologizes for slapping Peyton Royce the previous week.
Yeah, what was that?
Well, exactly. So I think we both kind of discussed we didn't really know where it was going to go, but seems like they've going on about how much they've kind of come together and how much they've overcome together, and they should still be tag team champions. And Crazy Lady in the office's favorite blonde. What?
Really? Are they really going
Right.
to try and make that comment when we're going to see Charlotte 3 times?
Exactly. And I don't know whether you picked up on this in the SmackDown review, but they said it again. Then they said something like Charlotte Jr. or something about Alexa.
Yeah,
and
they did.
It's really pissing me off, actually, to be fair.
What annoys me is like literally, and when I mentioned 3 times, I'm not talking about the 3 shows. We see Charlotte 3 times tonight, 3 times on Raw, and yet Alexa's the officer's favorite blonde. Fuck that. That's a fucking lie.
What the fuck? It felt like that was just out of nowhere. But yeah, anyway, they basically then say that Nikki can't talk, so she should just stand there and look grateful. And then Nikki cuts a very Scottish promo about how she came to the USA with nothing.
Yeah, I believe they had to put subtitles up, didn't they?
I mean, fucking hell, we can't understand Scottish, so God help the fucking Yanks. But yeah, so apparently, at least the Iconics had each other when they came over from the Oz, whereas she came over on a bill apparently, and didn't have anything until Lexi, which I thought was, I don't know, I don't think these guys are going to break up anytime soon still, but I feel like they're still planting these little seeds. Do you know what I mean? Just like, I don't know.
I'm curious on it because I feel like they do that a little bit like Nikki's character is quite over the top, and it feels like Alexa's sort of putting up with it a lot of the time. Like there is going to be a little hint of something there, but I've long since said I think it's going to be Nikki who turns on her. I don't think it's going to be the other way. I don't think we're going to see a Alexa heel run. I think it's going to be Nikki who turns on her for some heat.
Yeah, I don't know. I think with the whole Bailey Sasha thing, maybe it's not going to come anytime soon. But I don't know whether they're planting the seeds. But either way, for this week's segment, the Iconics then just go on and start beating down Bliss Cross Applesauce, then hold their titles above their heads as though they're the real champs or whatever. So
yeah, I think
okay,
didn't you just lose your shot? But okay, clearly going to get another one.
Yeah.
And because the KO show went enough, Carl, what have we got? What have we got next?
Another wonderful talk show. This time it's the VIP Lounge with MVP.
Yay.
So he's just chatting. It's just a nothing segment, this. He comes out, chats some shite. Drew McIntyre comes down. MVP's like, well, I tried to help you out, blah, 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 but you didn't want my help, so now I've asked Lashley. So then Drew just basically said, I don't need anyone to talk for me, no one to think for me, and I don't need anyone kissing my ass. And he claymores him. So it's short and sweet.
Fair enough, yeah.
Well, there's no mention of it, a Claymore party, so
yeah,
it's fine.
I like it.
We then get Owens versus Angel Garza.
Okay.
And
why?
That
built up.
Exactly, right? So load of build up behind this, and forgive me for jumping the gun and saying that they brought Owens back and they've misused him, and they haven't. Surely this will all be rectified, right? No, because Garza goes over Rollins. No, not Rollins. Owens. Someone. Yeah.
You predicting the future there?
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why would you have Angel Garza go over fucking Kevin Owens?
I know.
Don't get me wrong.
All due respect to Kev, but it's not even a big enough rub for Garza for it to make sense.
Exactly. Clearly they're very big on Garza to the point where part of me thinks if Andrade wasn't shagging Charlotte, that Garza would be fucking given more of a push than Andrade at the minute. But to have him go over Kevin Owens, it's like you said, no offense to Kev, but it is a big coup for Garza to have that win. But what's it mean? They're not going to do anything with it. Then on the other hand, you've had Kevin Owens be away for ages. He comes back and he hosts a fucking talk show as a tag team match and then loses to fucking Angel Garza.
Yeah, and this is a man who come off WrestleMania beating Seth Rollins, who's arguably one of the biggest names in the business.
Exactly. I don't know, just absolute shite. They literally don't know what they're doing.
No, very confusing. Very confusing.
Speaking of shite, we get more of the Prophets and Raiders. Surely you can't tell me you were digging it this week as well.
I'll be honest. I enjoyed the last 2. right? And I probably didn't hate this anywhere near the level you're going to, but yeah, this one was a bit boring. It was the weakest of the three we've seen so far, and I wasn't that into it. I wasn't angry about it, because I've come to expect these mad gimmicks where they're competing with each other over random stuff. Slightly tickled by the fact he got moved onto a mini golf course, but yeah, don't know.
I hate it. I hate everything about it. Right, look, fucking Angelo Dawkins doesn't have any charisma whatsoever, right? You
Well,
could
no, the
argue
other one
potentially,
does the talking for him. The one with the
yeah,
circly
you could
glasses.
argue potentially Montez Ford has got the charisma of the tag team. But
Nah,
I
I think
feel
he's got a
like all
mouth.
he's done is he's just been watching Damon Wayne's old fucking shtick and tried to copy him as much as he can.
I actually think he's been watching Damon Wayans Jr.'s current shtick.
Maybe, but either way, it's tired, man. Like literally, it's not funny. The Viking Raiders aren't funny. The Prophets aren't funny, and to have 3 of these segments now in a row.
No, as I say, I happily admit that the last couple of weeks I've been enjoying these segments, right? And again, I probably didn't hate it all that much, but it was the weakest of the three. But I will totally agree with you that like they are booking Montez as the one with the charisma, but he hasn't. He's got a mouth and a microphone. I don't think he's actually got much about him in terms of personality, if I'm honest.
No,
Again, character wise, I'm not having I don't know Montez in real life, but character wise, I'm not digging
yeah, same. Like literally, just please stop it. Please stop
it.
it. Then next we get the Messiah's Disciples versus Humberto Carrillo and Aleister Black,
Okay.
which was, makes sense. But the match itself was okay. Most of these guys are pretty talented, especially Humberto, and I think it was him who continues to look really great in every kind of match he's in. And I don't know, I feel like they just haven't got anything for him now. The feud with Andrade made sense, but it's like he's so kind of vanilla at the minute. He hasn't really got any character about him. Like his ability is fantastic, but I feel like he's just there. So I don't know. And then after the match, Seth tries to basically blind yet another Mexican dude, because he tries to do to Humberto what he did to Ray, but obviously doesn't end up being able to go through there. But yeah, I don't know. Bit shy, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, really, isn't it? That he says he's gone for Humberto. Like, bit of an odd one, really. Yeah, for me, if this match hadn't have happened, I don't think it made much difference to the story either. In all honesty,
No, didn't progress anything, to be fair.
no.
So strange. We then get a promo from Edge. So basically saying that, Orton has been baiting him, and then finally he's now bit, but he's doubting his ability, which is the whole point of the fucking segment, apparently. But at Backlash, he's going to dig to the depths of his soul to beat him, and that's all he can do. Why are they hyping this as the greatest wrestling match ever?
No idea. People were fucking loving this promo as well. I was on Twitter at this time. People were like proper like, "Wow, fantastic promo from Edge." I'm like, "Yeah," but when you really look at it, he's not saying. We know the match is happening, and he's not really saying anything. You know what I mean?
For me, this is one of the
Dig
weaker
into
of
the depths of his soul.
Edge's
Yeah,
promos.
okay. It's what.
Since
Yeah.
since he's come back, I don't know. I feel like his promo work's been great. This for me felt a bit weak. Like obviously the previous week where he just stood there and said nothing, that was the worst. But
I mean,
this
he
one,
looks quite gritty there, doesn't he?
what is it with this fucking? What is it with the word grit? What is it with the word grit?
They like the word
Everywhere,
grit.
everywhere, right? And I'm going to come on to this in some of the other shows, right? Everyone's talking about grit.
I know.
What
I
the fuck?
think it's replaced intensity, because they used to say people were really intense and it was intense, and, But I think it's just the new WWE buzzword.
Well, they need to replace grit with shit because it's starting to do me in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's
so
a
apparently
t-shirt waiting to happen. The exact
so
same Edge shirt, but make it shit instead of grit.
let's make it happen. Let's do it. So yeah, I don't know. The greatest wrestling match ever, really. Neither of these guys are the greatest wrestlers, so how's that
It's
going to work?
really
Okay.
I don't like to be negative about Edge being back. It's awesome to see him back, especially after being out so long, and especially after potentially career-ending injury from there previously. But we've seen these two go up against each other. We don't need this match, and I've no hype for it at all. I'll be happy when it's done and dusted, and he can move on to someone else, or
Yeah, same.
Randy again, probably.
Well, fucking hell, fingers crossed that's not the case. But yeah, I mean, every time we talk about it, we say, I think he's back, so he needs to have some fresh matches, like with Rollins, with Owens, with people that he's never
The
fought
Rollins
before.
one, surely that's got to happen at some point.
Fingers
That
crossed.
makes sense. You could see
It's one
Rollins
of
wanting
them.
to go
If
from a character angle. You could see the Messiah wanting to deal with the false prophet of Edge because people are back and they
exactly,
love him. You know what I mean?
exactly. But if it happens, it's got to happen soon because I imagine it'll take time off for being a baby daddy. soon. So
Oh, there is that. Yeah.
yeah, but okay. So apparently the greatest wrestling match ever we've got to look forward to. Awesome. Do you want to know what isn't the greatest match ever? The women's
Oh,
triple
come.
threat.
Yay.
So we get Charlotte versus Nia versus Natty because that's the match we all want. That being said,
Did we,
the
like,
match itself was okay. To be fair, I don't want to be too harsh on it because it was okay. But do you want to know why it was okay?
Come.
Because Nia Jax spent most of the fucking time on the floor on the outside of the match, so it was pretty much just Charlotte versus Natty, which is a match I can
And
get behind.
they're both very good, aren't they, to be fair?
Yeah, but you know what? What happens when you spend most of the time not in the match and then you come back? Similar to kind of Roman Reigns at the Rumble. You want to win the fucking thing, don't you?
Oh, of
So
course, yeah. You go and have a lie down. Everyone's completely
yeah,
fine with that. And
exactly.
then you
She's
win.
probably still lying on the mattress from the previous week when fucking Asuka made a lie down on a comfy mattress.
I forgot about that.
But
Oh
yeah,
no,
fucking
she
hell.
fell.
So yeah, obviously Natalie was the one to take the pin because they can't possibly do anything to hurt Charlotte. So Nia is going to Backlash because that is what we want to see. But then I thought was really funny is they then showed the graphic after the fact to show that it was going to be Asuka versus Nia, and it still had the greatest wrestling match ever text on there. So it's like, what are you now saying? Asuka and Nia? It's like, what? I was confused as fuck when I saw it. To be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, surely they can't be billing that one as the greatest ever.
Yeah.
I'm willing to suspend disbelief, but I have limits, man.
Yeah, fucking hell. As an actual dead man and stuff like that, the gobbledygooker, that's fine. But Nia Jax has been in the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
No, it's too unrealistic for me,
though. Then we get to see from our 24/7 champion, the longest reigning 24/7 champion, because he's not fucking there, Mr. Gronk.
Yeah, he's pulled a Brock Lesnar on us.
Oh yeah, but don't worry because he's clearly been working on his promo skills because he goes on to call our truth our lies.
He burned him, man. How's he gonna come back from that one?
So yeah, that was.
I think he's been taking their promo skills from his best mate.
This was pointless as well. Like he was literally just there for no reason. Like there's no why have him hold up the title for this amount of time? Like just have someone take the title off him so you can do something fresh. But whatever.
Yeah.
Then we got a Liv Morgan promo, and I don't know how I feel, man, about this because I'm big into Morgan, but I'm not really big into I'm not big into this kind of character. So in her latest promo, her biggest stumbling block was her self-worth. She's never felt good enough apparently. But you know what? She might not know everything, but she knows that she's alive and she's living her best life. Full of puns.
Yeah.
And not much else.
I mean, for me, Carl, I think you should live and let live.
Hey.
For me, this is one promo too many. I'm bored. She needs to do something. She doesn't have to do a fucking promo every week. We get it.
Exactly. I feel like
stop taking up TV time and just get an Instagram for fuck's sake.
Her character work has stepped on massively when she hasn't been talking, and that's not me saying she's a bad promo. I'm just saying that the gimmick that she's got, it doesn't benefit her at all. When she comes out in brand new ring gear, looking like a fucking crazy psychopath at the Rumble, okay, yeah, like that. When she comes out, challenges Charlotte Flair, and is again, she was on the mic then, she was good. I like that, but I don't know who I am, just a girl, like all girls my age, and my mum's got grit because everyone's got grit, and I didn't know who it was, but now I know I am, and I'm live, and it was like, oh, fuck's sake, I don't know, it's not working.
Yeah,
not for me.
No, I'm with you. I think they've become a little bit repetitive and boring, these promos. I think she needs to get back to having some good matches. A little side note for you there, Carl. Did you know that her ring gear is actually based on the Black Cat from the animated Spider-Man series?
Interesting. No, I did not.
Just FYI.
Very nice.
Fun facts for everyone.
Fun and educational. So the main event of the evening was the main event we've always wanted to see, and it is the really charismatic Street Profits versus the really charismatic MVP and Bobby Lashley.
And this needed to happen because
who knows? Like MVP, mate. If you're just a manager, if so, just fucking stay to be a manager. Why are you trying to be a wrestler now as well? I don't really know. But
I want to stress something right now, MVP. I was happy when I saw you come back at the Rumble, just for the kicks. I was made up with that. I'm done now. You can go.
I'm MVP'd off.
Hey.
This whole thing. But yeah, so obviously we need to see MVP and Lashley. Do you know what? They work quite well together, I think. But what is it with these really tame, like fucking DQ finishes? Like we're having them every week now.
Yeah, I don't get what it is. Like, I feel like there's way too much sort of, and I could be wrong, but there seems to be way too much paranoia about not wanting people to look weak because we love Lashley, but we love the profits. What are we gonna do? So they just DQ it, so no one looks fucking stupid, but everyone looks fucking stupid. Could
Yeah,
be
it's
wrong,
like
but it just
if it
feels a little bit
happens
like that.
if it happens every week, and it would bother me if the DQ was like legitimate. But it's like for the guy who isn't the legal tag staying in like a couple of seconds too long or something. It's like, well, what? Like really? That's a DQ? Like fucking
Like, you're really strict on the rules when you want to be.
exactly. So yeah, I don't know. Again, why did this match need to happen? Nobody knows. And then after the match, we basically see Drew McIntyre come down with his music, obviously, because we need his music. Can't just come down because that doesn't make sense. And then he starts having a really vicious fight with Bobby Lashley. Clearly these guys hate each other. There's loads of animosity there based on all the event. Oh, wait, no, what? Well, they just basically announced that they're fighting each other, and there's no history there. Okay.
In fact, there's more animosity between him and MVP. MVP is the one who's going to go, well, all right, you said no, but look who I've got now. Like,
right.
Cool.
Why do these guys hate each other so much? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like Shayna Baszler bit a fucking chunk out of Becky Lynch's neck, right? And then she turns up the next week, it's like, it's cool, right? Bobby's done nothing to Drew, and Drew's done nothing to Bobby. And the next thing you know, they're trying to
I
fucking
barely hear
murder
Bobby
each other.
talk. Bobby's just there, like, little man say, get big man. Like, I never heard him say fucking where MVP's gone, you should beat him up, and he's gone, okay. Like, what the fuck?
Like, yeah, literally no idea. And I feel bad because, I do love Drew, but it's been a really poor show in the last couple of weeks for him. Like, it was very gimmicky, catchphrasey stuff like the last week. And then the way this feud's being built at the minute, it's just built on nothing. So he just looks stupid.
We see this the problem because they want to push Lashley, right? And for me, Lashley's not got enough personality for it. I think that was his problem the first time, and certainly his problem now. And Drew would have worked better, in my opinion, going up against the Maharaja.
Oh yeah, defo.
That it was straight away. It had the history there. They've got the chemistry there because they worked together for years. They are starting to build him up because he's come back and he wants his redemption, even though he didn't do anything this week. It would have been more organic, and I think Drew would have worked with that better. Drew's actually been interviewed recently and said about how he enjoys having the freedom to sort of be off the cuff, and that's one of the key elements this time in WWE for him. But I think it makes it harder when you've got a story that there's not really a lot of substance to. Like, it's one thing being off the cuff, but how can you work with this when you've like you say, there's no motivation really for not liking Bobby?
That's it. It's just so not in keeping with his character. Like one minute he's like, "Oh, I'm just here for a Claymore party. I just want to come out and beat some people up for some fun." And like the next week he's like, "I'm fully intensity, hate you, and I want you to die." And it's like, okay, but why? I don't know. It just
Like, what happened?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. So
No.
for me, that was Raw, and I can't give it any higher than a 1.5. I think the Apollo win was good. There was one or two other little bright spots, but for me, it was just a really weak show.
Yeah, I agree with you. Totally agree. It's a 1 for me. I'll be honest. Fuck Raw. Fuck everything
Fuck
it's
Raw.
about.
I
No,
like it.
one of the worst I've seen in a while. There was nothing here for me really.
That's
That's
it.
all.
Nothing kind of felt like it got progressed. Nothing benefited from anything. It was just there, and it happened.
Genuinely, if you haven't seen Raw this week and you're wondering, oh shit, am I going to be able to keep up? Don't worry about it. Skip this one. Go on to the next one. I promise you won't miss anything.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, anything you did miss, they're going to recap 6 or 7 times on this week's Raw.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because how else are they going to fill 3 hours? So yeah,
So
that was Raw.
That was Raw.